Hey everybody, this is Chris with Wallowa Hikes. Today we're going to talk about part 2 of your sleep system, sleeping pads.
So why do you need a sleeping pad? Well, a couple reasons. One is to be comfortable and not sleep on the hard ground. But another reason is that it'll keep you warmer. A lot of people don't think about how cold it is to sleep on the ground. So let's take a look at what you're going to need.
So if your tent is your house, your sleeping pad is going to be your mattress. Sleeping pads are going to make it a lot more comfortable, and they're going to make it a lot more warm for you. So you're going to need something under you. First trip I took, I went out, slept right on the ground because it's what I did as a kid. And being older, man, that was hard on my hips. But it was also kind of cold. Even though it was summertime, the ground gets cold and you want something between you and the ground. Now, obviously, you're going to be using a sleeping bag. Your sleeping bag is going to keep you warm, but if you think about it, the loft around you, that is insulating you from the air around you, but you're laying on that bottom part. It's compressing that. So you're not getting that insulation, so you need something under you. And of course, it's going to be way more comfortable having something underneath you. Now, see a lot of people out there with the rolled up foam pads. I guess those work okay. They're light. I don't care for that much. I want something that's going to be a little more comfortable. So I use an inflatable pad. There's lots of different kinds of pads though that you can use. For instance, a lot of people use these foam pads, like an accordion, stretches out, has a silver side on it. Now that's supposed to reflect some of that warmth back to you. I used just this when I was hiking over a couple of passes in the Willamette Mountains, trying to go ultra light. I just used the tent fly and a footprint, just used this. And there was frost everywhere when I woke up. Now, this actually wasn't that bad. It's not the most comfortable, but it's better than sleeping on the ground, and it actually does have a little bit of warmth. And how are you going to know if something's going to be warm enough for you? Sleeping pads have something called an R value. I don't know what that stands for. You can look it up on the internet, right? But the higher the R value, the warmer the bag is going to be. I mentioned earlier about sleeping on the snow on Mount Hood, and I had a Climate sleeping pad. Now, the R value on this is really low. I don't know that this even lists the R value, but it's like 1.5. They go up to like 8. You can buy a pad that has an R value of over 8. It's about $250, which is pretty ridiculous, right? So when I went to Shasta, knowing that this wasn't going to be warm enough for me, that's why I bought this. So I put this under me with this and one of those emergency blankets that you get at like Walmart for $1.50, those silver blankets, also reflects the heat. So using those three things, I stayed plenty warm. Also was wearing pretty much all of my clothes, but that worked. Knowing that though, I decided I was going to upgrade to something a little warmer. So I have this Nemo Tensor insulated pad. This is going to be warmer. This is so comfortable and way more money than this guy. This guy I've used forever, the Climate Static V. They have them at Costco. They have them at Walmart. They're like the Sawyer mini squeeze filter. You can get them everywhere. It's not the most uncomfortable thing. So it worked fine. But I have several pads. We're going to take a look at what they look like when they're inflated. So let's do that. but all right, so we're going to take a look at what some of these look like when they're blown up. Now, I just got this pad recently for Christmas from my sister. And I'm actually not sure of the brand. I believe it's from Amazon. So that's somewhere that you can find a lot of gear. You know, if you can go into an REI and lay down on one of these, if they've got them inflated, try a bunch out. See what's most comfortable for you. If you sleep on your back, a lot of these are going to work for you. If you sleep on your side, you're probably going to want something a little thicker. That's why I went with the Nemo Tensor. But I tried this one out recently. I assume it's fairly inexpensive. Shop around if that's what you're looking for, is something that's not a lot of money. These baffles, kind of like a bed would be, a regular mattress. So this is pretty comfortable. Don't know the R value, so I don't know how warm this would be. Perfectly good for summer camping and backpacking. Now, this is the Static Beat. This is the Climate sleeping pad that you're going to find everywhere. And it works pretty well. It's not the warmest thing, but I never really had much of a problem with it until sleeping on the snow on the mountain. The way these baffles go, this is pretty comfortable. These sides kind of keep you from rolling over off of the pad, so that's really great. And these are fairly inexpensive. I think like $35-40 maybe. You can get cheaper. You can get way more expensive. This is nice. The problem I've had with it over the years is getting all of the air out of it when I'm packing up in the morning. And it took me probably 8 years to really figure out a system for that, just rolling it up and then unfolding it or unrolling it and then folding it. Anyway, that's one of the problems with this one, but overall, it's a pretty good pad. Now, recently, I upgraded to the Nemo Tensor. I don't like to spend a lot of money. This was over $100. It is super comfortable, super warm, not super noisy. I know some pads that are pretty popular are kind of noisy. As a side sleeper, this works really well for me. I love this. This is also 25 inches wide. Most of these pads you see are going to be about 20 inches. You can get the wider pads. They're going to be a little bit heavier, obviously. Makes all the difference, especially if you're a bigger person like me. So, Nemo Tensor, I love this. It's warm. It's light. The material feels super thin, and I'm really afraid of poking a hole in this, but so far haven't had a problem. Haven't had a problem with any of them. I've never poked a hole in a pad in 20 years, which is pretty amazing. And then, of course, you've got this style, and then you've got the rolled up pads if that's something that you want. So that's what a sleeping pad looks like. You're gonna need this. Most of these are around a pound or less. Definitely worth it. So shop around. Again, if you can go to REI, you can see these inflated. If pull them off the wall, put them on the floor, give them a try. See what works for you, and depending on how much money you want to spend, get what's going to work good. So that's sleeping pads. I got no funny stories. I got no whatever. It's just, it is what it is. Oh. Also, you might have noticed, if you watched the video, I got this with the Nemo Tensor. It works really well for blowing it up, so you're just not blowing and blowing and blowing. A lot of people think that using your lungs, because of the moisture in that air, that your pad is going to get moldy inside or whatever. I haven't really seen studies on that. I know people have cut them open after having them for years and not seen that, so it's probably not a problem. So you don't necessarily need this. You can also get tiny little pumps, which sounds ridiculous because it's more weight. And I actually have one coming in the mail to try out this summer to see if it's worth that. This is about 2.5 ounces. The FlexTail Zero pump is about the same, so I'm gonna try it out, but you don't need some special tool. You just blow it up. But as you saw, a few of these take a few breaths. It's not always the first thing you want to do after you get to a camp after hiking all day. But if you like what you see, keep watching. And if you missed the first video in the Sleep System series, sleeping bags, I've got a link to that right here. We'll see you next time.